Brilliant ideas, powered by Hyundai Motor.
There are artists whose work draws you in. When you are in front of the work, then all of a sudden a whole new journey starts.
Rana Begum's art is an exploration of space, colour and light.
She is in taking ordinary objects and playing with them and making extraordinary things with them.
There is this kind of twist happening, which I really love.
But for her audiences, her work evokes an experience that transcends physical form.
It's philosophical, it's physical. It's a combination of things that come together that actually will have an effect on how you view yourself, how you view your surroundings, and how you view your life.
I do find myself that I'm constantly trying to push things into some kind of form, but it's when I let go that interesting things start happening. What if it doesn't stay?
Rana Begum's North London studio is a place for experimentation.
Is that the right length, or have I got the wrong 2.5? Yeah, it's completely wrong.
Today, with the help of her assistant, Ranas, she's making a concept model for a potential new installation.
I need to consider how kind of light filters through the material, hence why I'm using acetate sheet to represent either the actual piece itself might be in glass or perspex.
Ranas art can take a variety of forms, from delicate sculpture to large-scale public installations. But almost all start life as intricate models like this.
I like that she works with models instead of working by the laptop or the computer. Some things you only can learn if you're touching or by experiment.
A lot of the models give some idea of scale, some idea of material, some idea of how colour and form works together, and how kind of movement is quite important within the work as well. This is so much better than actually just doing a quick drawing, because I feel, one, it doesn't portray the material that I want to propose. The sketches doesn't anyway, my sketches don't. And then the other is that I have difficulty communicating what it is that I want.
But where she may lack the words, her art can provoke unexpected responses from seemingly simple shapes.
Her work is known for very vibrant, intensive colors and geometric shapes. But in reality, once you are in front of them, then you start seeing a lot of different things. You see the importance of light, not only the time of the day, but also the color of the background and the intensity of that interaction.
Most recently, a major solo exhibition at the Parasol Unit in London encapsulated Rana's style and ambition.
Her works have the potential to make these sensory changes on the spectator when they walk in the space. We're not talking about, a conventional hung painting. Rana's work relates to the space, it relates to the environment, it relates to how people navigate the space.
She's trying to take the viewer to a journey of discovery. And what you sense is certainly different from my point of view. So every viewer has to find his or her own way of discovery through Rana's work.
Rana never mixes pigment. She positions solo blocks of colour in such a way that light creates new tones and reflections.
As you walk through and around it, the work shifts and changes. The colours appear and disappear, and the light kind of filters through. Those are things that I get very excited by, and I feel like when the viewer is able to kind of walk through the space, they're able to have those similar experiences.
But this exhibition was particularly symbolic because it was Rana's first ever solo show in the UK, something that proved quite intimidating at the time.
When Ziva said, let's do a show, I just presumed it was a group show, and I was very excited about that. And then she's like, no, it's a solo show. And I was like, are you sure?
People saw really for themselves the potential of this artist, how far she can go, and she can deliver, in fact.
For years, I felt quite lost. All the different researches that I was doing, I didn't know whether it was going anywhere. And for me, the show just brought everything together, and I can now confidently say, you know, the work is about light, colour and form.
Since then, Rana's exhibitions have gone global, including an award-winning piece in Dubai. But wherever it's shown, all her work is enhanced by light. And when the clouds part in dreary North London,
The sun is out at the moment.
her model is brought to life.
So this is a bit wonky, but for me, it's just a sketch. So I want to just check how it might. So you can see kind of what happens with the colour.
Light is, of course, an incredibly important aspect of Rana's work. By using a range of materials in different kinds of works, she's testing the constraints that she works within, I suppose. And light itself is something that she will be endlessly fascinated by.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The way that different lights can actually make a certain colour appear to be a completely different colour. The way that light travels across the surface, the way that light might travel through perspex so that you have an intensity of colour in one part of that object or one part of that material in an unexpected place.
That's just really cool, Ranas.
Rana's fascination with light can be traced back to her childhood in rural Bangladesh.
A lot of the memories that I have of my childhood, light has something to do with those kind of images that I have in my head. I remember various stages kind of getting told off by my mum for sitting outside getting bitten by mosquitoes because I'm just staring into space because I just want to see either the light on the water or on the rice fields.
These memories culminated in the installation she did for the Dhaka Art Summit. Organic structures of woven baskets fill the gallery, manipulating natural light and creating intricate shadows.
I thought about a couple of materials that I've had in the back of my mind, and one of them was baskets, handmade baskets that I used to actually make as a child with my daddy, the lady who took care of me. The space that I was allocated just had incredibly beautiful light coming through, and it was curved as well, so I wanted to work with the space.
But perhaps more significant than the art itself was the location of the exhibition.
It was the first time that I was going to be exhibiting in Bangladesh, and you know, to be going back for my family as well, it has been really tough for them to kind of, I guess, watch me, you know, become an artist. It wasn't easy for them, especially my dad. It wasn't easy for him to make a decision and say, okay, you know, you don't have to get married off, you can carry on studying art. But I think the struggle that came with it probably made me even more determined to continue being an artist. I didn't know what I could achieve, but all I knew was that for me, continuing to be an artist was huge. Continuing to survive as an artist is huge.
But despite growing up amongst lakes and rice fields, it is the urban that would prove to be a big influence in Rana's career. After the break, we see how Rana's public art has come to embody city life. Bangladeshi-born but British-raised artist Rana Begum is best known for her minimalist sculpture. But now the city is the driving influence in her career. A building site in King's Cross in North London may be the last place you'd expect to see an art installation. But it was this very aspect that first drew Rana to the space.
It was quite important for me that the site and what was happening around the site, the construction, the noise, the busy, chaotic aspect of the site was important. I guess I wanted to kind of do something that allowed the work to take all that in, but also allow people to just take a moment to kind of just breathe.
Composed of over 30,000 reflectors, it's not merely a fancy construction hoarding. The wall embodies the change happening in the urban environment.
The way the reflectors are kind of stacked up to represent almost like bricks, then kind of represents the construction that's happening around it. I love that, you know, people can touch. I mean, this was really important for me, the other thing was that I wanted it to be tactile. I wanted something that people can get close to and touch and feel. It's, you know, and see their own reflection, see the reflection of the city on the work.
I think she just finds beauty in everyday things. She finds colour appearing in so many different environments and objects that she can simply use those rather than creating her own palette. So, for example, using reflectors that you would normally find used on vehicles, lorries and cars.
Oh, that's going to pop.
And of course, being exposed to the elements, some of the reflectors can come loose. Something that Rana immediately notices.
One of the things with these is that with the material that I'm working with, there is going to be some kind of give because of the way like the space is used or the weather as well. There is a tendency for some of these kind of imperfections to come out. Oh, it's worked.
Although static, the material and geometry of the piece produces shifting patterns and shapes.
Sunlight has an amazing effect on the work. Because it's made of reflectors, it changes throughout the day and throughout the night, depending on who's walking past it, and creates this environment that people can engage with as they move past.
I struggle with static work. I struggle with work where you can only view it from one position. You know, I love that change, I love that shift that occurs when the viewer is moving, but also the change that occurs when you have the light changing throughout the day, throughout the week and month.
She wants the viewer to discover something new, and she wants that to be never final. Maybe tomorrow you come back to the exhibition and you see something else.
Rana's relentless desire to capture the changing urban environment is clear. Even seemingly simple things in the city catch her attention.
Yellow and red. I just love it. It's not just on its own, but I love how it's framed and the kind of the background and the grey and the kind of the structure. It just looks really beautiful. The way the colours work together. And even that you can see there's a subtle difference in the yellow as well.
All of these little moments are hoarded on Rana's Instagram account, a scrapbook of inspiration for future projects.
It is an obsession. It's these kind of really subtle things that you don't really notice or pick up on. There are times where My kids will be screaming in the background going, I don't want to do this anymore, stop. You know, just we're stuck in the car for a little bit longer because I want to just capture or document this thing that's happening.
She's still on this journey of exploring the built environment and finding motifs, finding colours, finding components that she then is able to distill into her practice. And it really is someone who sees things in the everyday that you and I might just walk past.
But Rana's drive does have a purpose other than to document the city. She's come to the fabricators to meet Shaf and check that he has correctly applied the colour to her latest installation.
It's a really nice finish, happy with it.
So these are the yellow. So Valda's applying that now. Yeah. It's a nice yellow.
It is really nice. I love how bright it is as well.
Who chose the colours?
I did.
Did you? OK. All right.
I'm the colour person.
Yeah, OK, yeah. Cool.
I grew up with incredibly beautiful saris and salwar kameez, and I think that's where, for me, you know, colour comes from. So the colours were always really intense.
Right, so yours is done, Rana.
Yeah.
Just stand back a minute.
Oh, OK.
It's quite hot.
I love it. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Be careful.
It looks great. When I'm looking at the mesh, it's just seeing if there's any kind of issue with the powder going on and the finish. So it needs to be quite smooth, and these mesh pieces become structures where, as the viewer walks through, they'll see the colours appearing and disappearing. So it's quite important because you can get quite close to it as well. It's quite important for the colours to go on properly.
After the break,
OK, so there's a problem.
we'll see Rana assemble these pieces, all 900 of them, into one of her most immersive and challenging exhibitions yet. Today, Rana Begum is on her way to begin constructing the main installation for her upcoming exhibition in Norwich.
The plan is, at least at the end of today, most of it will be up and we'll have some idea of form that is going to kind of be taking shape. It's always nerve-wracking when you're working on something like this because you don't really know. We've done drawings and we have some idea, but it's never the same. I like to kind of have room to play with in the space and it be more kind of instinctual.
Held at the Sainsbury's Visual Arts Centre, the exhibition will feature a wide range of Rana's work. Even her intricate models are on public display for the first time. But the focal point will be a large mesh structure which will take 2 days to assemble. The individual pieces have been delivered from the fabricators, and a team of people is on hand to put them together.
OK, and now that needs to get pulled out.
Under Rana's strict supervision, of course.
Yeah, a bit more, there. OK.
She's very hands-on. Yeah. She's clearly got a sense of where she wants it to go, but it's also intuitive. And in terms of getting the colour coordination that she wants and the configuration she wants, she's really sort of on it. You can see the way her mind is working.
Am I the right way?
Well, we'll find out.
Oh.
Oh. Shall we flip it? Let's see if it works.
There's something incredibly fresh about the way Rana approaches her a new work. She approaches each new work as if it was the first work she's ever made.
Looking at the way that she uses materials, the way that she takes colours, the way that she anticipates the lighting, You know, these are all incredibly important and precious decisions to take.
So I've forgotten how difficult it is to actually zip tie them together. Oh, okay, I can hear the sound. I think when you get into it, it gets a little bit easier, but it is quite difficult to get into the middle and make sure that they're pretty tight. But I am excited to see how it's not only kind of growing horizontally, but also vertically. I would like to go kind of 3 levels, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's the plan. Yeah, it's still kind of, I want to leave it unknown. I don't want to kind of say I can't go all the way up to the top, so. It's not completely precise, but I think I kind of crave that. It leaves room for accidents to happen and for me to discover something new within the work. There's a certain amount of control that you have to have, and it's nice sometimes to let go of that control. And I think with this piece, I can let go a little bit.
And of all the elements of this work that excite me, and it is a very exciting piece, I think it is this notion that it's ever expandable, that actually there is no starting point, there's no end point to it, that it can be reconfigured, it can grow, it can just sort of develop and seep into all the spaces.
I just really got into it, so I want to carry on working. I feel quite excited and I can see it coming together. So I'm quite keen to carry on for a bit longer. Everyone else has left. I think artists always kind of struggle with wanting challenging projects, wanting exciting projects, and for me this is kind of feels right in terms of the next step, being able to push this piece and see where it can go next.
A week later, the doors open to the public. This is Rana's 10th exhibition in the last year. She's dedicated her practice, and indeed her life, to exploring the fundamental principles of light, colour and form.
I think it appeals to a wide range of audiences, whether they're knowledgeable about contemporary art or not. There's something very appealing about the way Rana combines light and colour and form, which makes it easy to understand and access on one level, but the complexity that underlies that allows for a more enduring engagement with the work.
As often, there's an immediate response to her work, but then I think the more time you spend with it, the greater the reward will be.
She definitely is never going to be a figurative artist. She will continue to be an abstract artist. But who knows what she does? I've been in the art world for over 30 years and got what I've seen. It's beautiful.
When you say, what is it that I want people to see in my work? Well, I want them, I guess, to see what's around them. So it's not necessarily what they see in my work, but I want my work to become a tool to allow people to see things around them that they wouldn't normally see.
Brilliant ideas, powered by Hyundai Motor.